Did you miss us? We missed you. We're back. This is Star Wars Reactions.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
Rebellion.
Rebellion is built on hope.
And redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of Star Wars Reactions. We're here to just have some fun, talk some Star Wars, and help you pass some of your time there. So let's get this going. My name is Aaron Harris. Joining me is my co-host, the man that knows the most, the David Motters. David, buddy, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good. You and I were talking about what's happened in the last, 2 weeks since we did our review of the Rise of the novelization for
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, and it's been a lot. So I love what you said. I'm glad that we're back on. Hopefully we can kind of help bring a little brightness to people's days whenever they happen to listen to this. And it's always fun to escape with a little bit of Star Wars, but always ready to react.
All right. So, well, we do, I realized when I sat down to do the show notes, go over the show notes this afternoon, that we never actually announced we weren't doing a show last week. So first off, I want to apologize for that. We decided, since normally we record on a Tuesday night, and that month, the night before, was Memorial Day, and we were all going to have plans with our families, we would just take the week off, especially after the big Rise of Skywalker episode. So we figured, take the week off, and I'm sorry we didn't tell you. Hope we didn't scare you. We're all good. But we're back this week, and we're just going to have some fun. We got some news we want to go over, and then we got a great discussion about the anniversary of Galaxy's Edge. Figured that would be something fun to discuss. It's 1 year old now, and so a lot to talk about there. But let's go ahead and just kind of jump into some news. Unfortunately, since we last recorded our last episode, unfortunately, the Star Wars family has lost two members of the family, which is quite sad. We always hate it when we have to discuss the loss of a member of the Star Wars family, but unfortunately, we got to do it twice tonight. First, we lost Charles Lippincott. Charles Lippincott, if you don't know, back when the original Star Wars is what it was called, but New Hope was released in 1977. Charles was the advertising and publicity advisor to Lucasfilm at that point. He actually helped push the Star Wars into through the marketing. He was considered the architect of Star Wars marketing. Took it to its first convention, the whole 9 yards. He really did a number in promoting that the movie, which literally jump started everything that we do today. So it was sad to hear that he had passed. Secondly, which was also a surprise, Ken Knighting Gul. If you don't recognize that name, you may recognize him as what he is known by in the fan community as the pink shorts boom guy. He's the guy that in some of the promo photos from A New Hope, you could see him standing there with no shirt, bright pink shorts, holding a boom mic over the speeder. He passed away at the age of 92. So we definitely hate to hear that, and our thoughts and best wishes go out to their families.
Well, I think too that we're gonna, I started thinking about this, like when I've seen that picture of Ken Nightingale, the pink shorts boom guy, when you look at that and his age, and you look at George Lucas also in that picture, when you're saying that, a New Hope is, well, as you and I know, 43 years ago, filmed 44 years ago, we're getting up on half a century ago. So, when you get to there, and if people are 30 and 40 years old, boom, like you put in the show notes, he's 92 years old. And so, I think unfortunately we're going to start, losing a lot of these people who worked, particularly on A New Hope.
Oh, absolutely. And unfortunately, it's just how things go as time goes by. We all know there's no promise of tomorrow. So, especially as time goes on, the bigger chance we have of losing them. We've lost a lot of people in the Star Wars community, and it never makes it easier. You still think back to some of the bigger names that were lost, like Carrie Fisher, or
Peter
Mayhew, and Kenny Baker. These were staples in the movie. Chewbacca, R2-D2, Princess Leia, and we value everybody's life, and it's sad to see it when it passes on, and they are now one with the Force.
That's right.
Yeah. So, shifting gears, we did get some good news though.
Okay.
We got some good news, and I about hit the roof when I heard this. I was so excited when I read that, when I got this email. Del Rey is pushing up the release of Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising. So originally it was supposed to come out in October. It has now been moved up for a September 1st release.
What do you think? What is that? I was reading a little bit, but is there a reason for it? Or I think it's cool. I'm not complaining. What's the rationale behind it, do you think?
Well, I think it goes hand in hand with the next bit of news, which is the fact that a few days before this was the Thrawn Ascendancy announcement, they announced that the High Republic Publishing Initiative, remember we talked about that a couple episodes ago, huge publishing initiative. It takes place before it's the early years of the Jedi. All the books and comics and whole nine yards. The first one of those books was Charles Soule's Light of the Jedi, was due out in August, in 2 months. But unfortunately, they have had to postpone it, the whole publishing initiative, due to some production and creative delays. So we're not getting the first book until January 5th of 2021 now.
Yeah.
So we will. So I think this just kind of offsets itself. They're having to push this back. Well, now they're going to move the other forward, because I know for a fact, I've read online that where Timothy Zahn had said the book is done. He's already working through the second. He's almost done with the second, or is working on the second book in the trilogy.
Wow.
So this one is done. It's just been sitting waiting for its release date. So I think when this being pushed back, this was an opportunity to move it forward. So at least they had something coming out. Because if they didn't, we would have had Queen's Peril, which is coming out, which I think it just came out today, didn't it? We're recording June 2nd. So yeah, it came out today, I believe. I have to double check that, but it's come out. Then we wouldn't have anything else until Thrawn Ascendancy in October.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't going to, they just didn't want that to happen, because with that being pushed back, all the others got pushed back because it was supposed to be Charles Soule, Light of the Jedi was coming out first. Then a month later, it was supposed to be like it was going to be Justina Ireland's Test of Courage. Then a month or two after that, it was going to be Claudia Gray's Into the Dark. And now all these have been pushed back. The good news is January 5th, 2021, we'll get The Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. And they're also going to release Justina Ireland's Test of Courage.
Yeah.
So we're getting both of those books on the same day.
Yeah.
Then on February 22nd, we'll get Claudia Gray's Into the Dark.
Got it. Yeah, that's amazing. That has been pushed back. And if you think about it, you and I did talk about it pretty extensively in the new characters and some of the production art and stuff. But, Charles Soule's Light of the Jedi was going to be premiered at Celebration in Anaheim in August. And so I've heard a lot of people talking and speculating about that. We'll see what happens here due to wonderful COVID. But it'll be interesting. Without that and no movie, obviously season 2 Mandalorian, yes, but it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it is a bummer it's moved back, but it'll be going strong in 2021. Not everyone. I think a lot of Star Wars fans are going to jump on this and just have a good time with it. But I think, and I know that you and I have talked about this a bit, but Charles Soule was incredible. So just to see what he does with a novel, we know what he's done with comics. It's incredible. So something to look forward to, and but not too far, not pushed off too far.
No, it's not too far off, which is a good thing. But it's still pushed back. It does surprise me though that they're releasing Justina Ireland's book the same day as Charles Soule, especially when they hyped Charles Soule's book as the introduction to the High Republic. His book was the setup for everything that came after. So to have an additional book coming out the exact same day, if you don't, it could throw your, I don't know, it just seems like it would throw things off if you read the wrong one first. But they know what they're doing. Now, as you remember, there's Marvel comics coming out too, along with this. And those have been postponed as well. As of right now, there's been no date announced. I was getting tongue twisted there for when those comics will come out, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to Charles Soule's book because I want to see the setup for this new series of novels and comics. I want to know what they've told us in the introductions to the Jedis, and there's going to be the book's going to open pretty much with this massive catastrophe, which is going to basically flip the galaxy upside down and change the Jedi perspective. But I want to see how they do it. I'm dying to see how they do it. So I'm kind of I was kind of deflated when I heard that, which is actually why I decided. I know I was texting you and Gary and Jason the other day, and was telling you all that I was testing out Audible for the first time. So doing an audio book for the first time. And honestly, I was just going to hold off and kind of wait for these books to come out and try it then. But they got pushed back, and I'm like, well, I got to use this. Amazon was giving me a free trial with 2 free books instead of the one a month. So I went ahead and signed up, and one of the books I picked so I went ahead and signed up. So I chose Dooku, Jedi Lost. For the first one. So I got it downloaded, and I'm about to start that actually tomorrow. So I'm excited. So hopefully when these come out, I'll be we'll find out how much I like Audible after this, how much I like audiobooks. So I've never done an audiobook. So we'll find out how much I like audiobooks after this, and who knows, that may be how I listen to these others. So never know.
I told you that's been, after reviewing The Rise of Skywalker, I'm going to really try to really decreased the number of physical copies. I'm looking at all of them in front of me, and it's whew, it's a lot. But yes, Dooku Jedi Lost. I have that. I did Resistance Reborn on Audible. I think the next one I'm going to do is probably I Am C-3PO because it
Okay.
is Anthony Daniels,
Yeah.
So there's a lot. There's a lot. And I think, like I said, it'll save a lot of space, but I still love physical books. But yeah, we'll see how Aaron and I transition over.
Well, oh, definitely. Because right now, I probably, if this works for me, I will have to transition. Because right now I'm looking at my Amazon list and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books on pre-order right now.
Yeah.
From the 3 from the High Republic one, Lost Jedi or Light of the Jedi, Test of Courage, and Into the Dark. Then I got, of course, Thrawn Ascendancy.
Yeah.
Then, of course, our buddy Dan Z's book that he co-wrote, the Star Wars books on pre-order. Shadowfall, the second book of Alphabet Squadrons on pre-order.
Yeah.
And then the Clone Wars book.
Right. Well, now I'll say this: I definitely have to get Dan's book in hard copy. I've got to have it. And I do think because I do have the first book of Alphabet Squadron, and I want to get the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just want to finish, just like I finished off the sequel trilogy, having all 3 books. I definitely want to have all 3 of Alphabet Squadron, and like I said, and just taper down with the number of ones I get. Just
Mm-hmm.
have to be more select on what I get. So
Absolutely. So I can understand that. That's kind of what I had to do with my my collection. I had to taper down on what I was getting because I used to just buy. If it said Star Wars on it, I was just buying it. But now I've tapered my collection down to of course, just some of the books, and then anything Rebels related, anything Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's pretty much it. Well,
that's
Mandalorian.
good.
I've been doing Mandalorian, so
Yeah, and that is a good
with it
thing.
starting up. So
Yeah, it makes it manageable, and enjoyable. So
absolutely. So look for those books coming out January of 2021. More news. A lot of news this time. That's what happens when you take a week off. Your news piles up. You remember as earlier this year they announced that there was going to be a brand new children's game show coming on Disney Plus. Jedi Temple Challenge. It's going to be a kids game show. Ahmad Best was hosting it. Well, they released a teaser trailer for that show, and it looks incredible. Oh my gosh, it looked awesome. It reminded, David, I don't know if did you remember back on Nickelodeon, back in the day, back in the mid 90s, early 90s, they had Legends of the Hidden Temple with these kids competing, like going through archaeologists looking through the ruins and stuff, and to win prizes. It reminded me a lot of that show.
yeah,
I
just remember when people got slime, the green slime. I can't remember. Was that Double Dare or something like that?
Yep, that was Double Dare.
Okay.
Double Dare. That was a good one. I liked Double Dare.
Yeah.
This came on. I think Double Dare kicked off their game shows. This was Legend of the Hidden Temple came on a couple years after Double Dare started. But it was actually Double Dare Legend of the Hidden Temple actually featured another fellow Star Wars alum, D. Bradley Baker. He was the voice of the temple in that game show.
I would just go back and watch it for that. I love his voice talent.
Oh, when I found out that was him, I was so surprised. And then when I went back and watched an episode on YouTube, I was like, huh, yeah, that's him. That's D. Yeah. So Jedi Temple Challenge is Actually, they announced it's going to be released. Make its premiere June 3rd, which we're recording this June 2nd. The day this drops is the day it premieres. So as soon as it drops, you'll hear it from us as well, because there's been a change in how it's being released. It's no longer going to be on Disney Plus. They're actually releasing it through the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel.
What's your take on that?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out, why they would make that change.
Right.
I don't know why they would do that. I don't know. All I can come up. There was no reason given. There wasn't even a statement released that's saying, "Hey, we're switching this to YouTube or to Star Wars Kids YouTube's channel." It was just, here's the trailer. It's going to be on YouTube Kids or Star Wars Kids YouTube. It literally was news right out of left field. And then if you didn't know the original announcement a couple months ago, you would have had no clue that the change was even made. But I noticed it right off the bat because we talked about it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be on Disney Plus. It's going to be on Star Wars Kids YouTube tomorrow. And of course, since it's going to be on YouTube, as soon as I find out it's live, I will actually post it up on our website as well. It's StarWarsReactions.com, and you'll be able to visit it and watch it there.
Yes.
Now, of course, we did get some more information from the release information with the little teaser trailer they released with it. Ahmad Best is going to be playing Jedi Master Kelleron Beck, and his cohort, his partner, is a protocol droid named AD3, which is being voiced by Mary Holland. So this really does look like fun. The kids are going to, according to the everything we've seen in the trailer and everything, the kids are going to be competing like they're going through the Jedi trials. They have a physical trial, they'll have a brain trial, they'll have mental challenges. There'll be all kinds of things for that they'll have to compete in, and ultimately the final team standing become Jedi Knights.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for the kids. I mean, if you're a kid to be able to be on this, I mean, come on. And second of all, and perhaps maybe most important, is I'm so glad to see Ahmad Best, back in Star Wars and looking pretty happy and like he's enjoying it. I watched his interview on the Star Wars show, and then of course This Week in Star Wars we showed some more stuff as well. But I'm excited for him.
Oh no, absolutely, I am too. He's been long overdue to get back in Star Wars. He's a great guy. I was fortunate enough to meet him at Star Wars Weekends one year. He was an incredible guy, very nice, very, very laid back, very chill. And he, for a guy who the fan community really roasted for the longest time, he was still had a heart of gold. He was still kind. He was still polite. He was awesome to talk to. And he has his story has come out since then, and it's really heartbreaking to hear his story with him considering suicide and everything. It was just hard to deal with, especially after meeting the guy. So I'm glad that his healing has come full circle and he's back in the fold. And this time as a Jedi, not as Jar Jar. So, and I tell you what, he looks pretty good in those Jedi robes.
Oh yeah, and that lightsaber too, pretty sweet.
Exactly. And it was great. I read somewhere they were talking to him about the show, and somebody asked him about his lightsaber, what color he would want. And he requested he goes, I got to keep it with Mace. He wanted purple.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a fun show just to watch. Again, like I said, I don't know why it's on YouTube. the only thing I could come up with speculate, and this is just speculating, is they want to try to get views up on the YouTube Kids channel.
Yeah.
Or Star Wars Kids YouTube channel. So
that'll do it.
I think it will. I think it will. Now, my only question is, and this is what I want to know, when is the adult version coming out?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, the demand for that would be
They'd have enough contestants to last them 30 seasons.
Exactly. Oh, there's no question. Because you see that and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do this as a, I want to be 10 and 12 and 13 and do that,
After I saw it and I saw the teaser, I kind of sat there and looked at the mirror and stared at myself for a little bit and go, no, I can't pass as a 12-year-old. I don't have enough hair.
Neither one of us, my friend. Oh my gosh. Oh.
So it'll be fun. So look for that. Well, you're listening to this, so listen to it. Look for it now, because when the time you listen to it, it'll be out live. It should be out live. So because it releases the day this releases. So it's just a matter of what time it releases. So keep an eye on our website. When it goes live, you'll see it there. So all right, more exciting news from Lucasfilm. ILM X Labs and Oculus Studios announced a brand new VR game that it's going to be coming out later this year. Of course, these are the studios that brought us Vader Immortal, which is just killing it out there on the VR market now. And it is being just announced it was going to be released on PlayStation VR. But now they've announced a new game that's going to be released later this year called Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. This sounds exciting. There's been no trailer, no teaser, or anything like that yet. There's just a poster and a picture, an art picture that they posted. And just like it sounds, this routes right back to Disney's Galaxy's Edge. This game takes place on the outskirts of Blackspire Outpost on Batuu, which, of course, Blackspire Outpost is Galaxy's Edge at Disney. So this is something that a lot of people were excited to hear about. There was this wasn't even on anybody's radar. So this was something new and exciting that was announced. And I tell you, I'm wishing I had a VR system to, play this game when it comes out, whenever it is. I thought about asking for one and trying to convince my wife to get one, but just for Vader Immortal, I would have lost. But now I have something to pitch, and I'll probably still lose.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but so this will be fun.
What's that?
I said this will be fun.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's that time between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, I believe it said.
Yep.
Because we know that's when the Galaxy's Edge, this land, is placed on the timeline. And I'll be curious, just like with Vader Immortal, that's going to come over to the VR for PS4. I mean, this would make it even more likely for me to do it, because if this thing comes over to the PS4 as well, then I'd love to do both those games, Vader Immortal and Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. You and I have already had so much fun on Batuu already, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do and what characters are going to be involved. I read, the Crash of Fate, and I read Galaxy's Edge Black Spire, right, by Delilah S. Dawson. And we know the characters in those books. It'd be interesting to see if they use any of those or create some new ones. I mean, there's a lot of room there to do quite a bit of stuff, a lot of characters there on Batuu. But this I'm curious to see what happens here, and if it'll go to PS4.
Very true. I'm curious to see that as well. I mean, it may, considering Oculus Studios is working on the game, I'm sure it'll be on Oculus for the first year or two it's out, just like Vader Immortal was. before it actually comes to PlayStation VR. But yeah, it would be. I'm sure it will eventually. They just need to try to milk the exclusivity for a little bit first. So,
agreed.
All right. So, in our last bit of news, this was something that I knew had been coming for a while. I just didn't know when. I knew the announcement was coming. I just didn't know when. I thought it'd probably be, next year. But we got it this year, and I am stoked beyond belief. Hasbro has announced that they are releasing the final member of the Star Wars Rebels Ghost Crew as part of the 6-inch Black Series. That's right, folks. Garazeb Aurelios, aka Zeb, is getting his Black Series figure, and it will be released October 1st of 2020.
That's pretty sweet. I saw this at a few different things when I was online. I was like, ooh, because I've got a small version of him. I've got the 3 3/4 inch of him, but this looks really cool.
Oh, he looks fantastic. I of course, you can, if you haven't seen the announcement or seen the pictures, definitely hit our website, Star Wars Reactions. We got them there where you can view them. He looks spectacular. He comes with, of course, his bow rifle staff. It's just incredibly articulated. Gorgeous figure. And what's great about this too is what really caught me by surprise and really came out of left field was they are doing this in conjunction with a re-release of the existing Rebels figures. So they're re-releasing Hera, Kanan, Ezra, Sabine, Ahsoka Tano, Rebels Ahsoka Tano, and of course, Chop Chop. Chop Chop. And what's really cool too, on top of you don't think it could get any cooler, but they're also doing this with a new design package. Their packages that came out totally wrong, with a new package design for these figures. All the Black Series that are coming out from now on are coming out with new packaging, new design, and they look incredible. They're going to be color-coded the boxes are going to be color-coded based on whether it's from the movies, whether it's from The Mandalorian, whether it's from Rebels or Clone Wars. It's really ingenious the way they're doing it, because it provides an easy way to distinguish between the boxes, which is pretty cool. Rebels has got that purple finish. And what's great is on the side of the box, they've actually put a picture of the figure you're getting. So, and what's great is when you put the entire series together, it makes one nice long diorama picture. Gorgeous.
Oh,
gorgeous.
Yeah, that's cool.
So those are incredible, and all of those are available. Actually, last time I checked on Hasbro, Ahsoka was actually sold out. But all the others were still available last time I checked on Hasbro's website. All of them except for Zeb will have a retail of $19.99. Zeb Aurelios, because Zeb is such a big guy compared to everybody else in the show, they're trying to scale it as much as possible. So he is actually going to be considered what their deluxe figures is, and he will actually be going for $29.99. And they're all up on pre-order right now, so hit HasbroPulse.com and grab them while you can. And there are other Black Series figures coming out that day as well. There's a Wolfpack clone trooper being released. The Mandalorian in the Shiny Beskar is being released that day, along with several others. But these really just blew my mind. But to have all these Rebel figures just coming out at once again is spectacular. I was excited to see that. They look phenomenal.
Yeah, that's cool. It does look super cool.
They really, really are. So, all right. So that, of course, wraps up all the news that we've missed talking about over the last 2 weeks. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk some Galaxy's Edge. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Aaron and David here. And we are just going to have a nice, fun discussion. Actually, this past weekend, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, California, celebrated its 1-year birthday. So Galaxy's Edge has turned a year old. The first themed Star Wars land anywhere. And we figured, you know what? This would be just a nice, fun time to sit down and talk about Galaxy's Edge and go through some of our memories of going, because you and I went together for the first time, David.
Absolutely. Again, we've gushed about it before. I was just so thankful, to be able to go in early August of last year before the park opened. And you and I, have Jason and his wife, Sarah, to thank for that. And so we, got to go on Smugglers Run. We've got to walk around, and really the crowd was so just the perfect size, not overwhelming, but it wasn't where there wasn't anybody. And just so many fun memories there. Maybe one of my most fun memories there, and if we're just jumping in, I'm jumping in already, and I still have the video, is you wanting to toss one of the Coke or Sprite bottles that looks like a thermal detonator at two of the First Order stormtroopers. You were curious to see how they would react. We ended up not being so mean and let them go on their way. In essence, you and I had them move along, right? We didn't do it. So we had so much fun that day. It was just incredible, just awe-inspiring.
It really was. We had a blast that day. And no, I didn't throw it at or pretend to throw it at the stormtroopers, but I did with one of the cast members. And that was a lot of fun and a great time, because those cast members, they go through a lot of training to work in Galaxy's Edge. They have fully developed characters with backgrounds. They know how far they commute to get to work at Galaxy's Edge. They know who they work for. They know literally everything about their background, and it's incredible. And they never break character.
Yeah, you and I were walking up to them and asking them where they were, and they would talk about different parts of Batuu and outside, the city and in the countryside, and like you said, all of it. It was just an incredible production. And of course, when we went, Smugglers Run was ready to rock and roll, and we had a great time flying that, the Millennium Falcon. But the Rise of the Resistance was not open until this past December in Orlando, obviously January in Southern California.
Correct. So let's take a look here, because we got get the rough background on Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge was first announced August 15th of 2015, and the world lost its mind when that was announced. I remember just bouncing off the wall, so excited. August 15th, 2015, it was announced. They actually broke ground and started construction April 14th of 2016. And the world met Batuu at Disneyland, California on May 31st, 2019. And then at Hollywood Studios, Orlando at the Walt Disney World Resort, August 29th, 2019. So as David said, we went to the one in Orlando, which opened in August, which from what I understand, the worlds are identical. It's the same either way. So experience one, you experience the other. The only difference is the climate.
Right.
One gets hurricanes and can be blown away. The other one could shake the ground right out from under you. So
either one, right? Yeah.
Either or. But no. So we went in August for our buddy Jason and his wife Sarah invited both of us to Hollywood Studios for to be their plus ones for a cast member preview of Galaxy's Edge, which was, oh my gosh, it was incredible. And of course, just for off the beaten path for a moment, that nice thermal detonator you were talking about a moment ago.
Yeah.
Sitting right above my head on my shelf.
I've got mine in my office. I've got a Sprite, Coke, Diet Coke, and I have the water bottle. So they're all there in my office with my other Star Wars collectibles.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they're nice to have. They are very nice. I actually got two. I got one sitting on my desk and one sitting on the shelf on my desk, and the other sitting behind me on a bookcase. So they're really cool. I love it, and they're all written in Arabic and everything too. So of course there's a lot of things to see at Galaxy's Edge and a lot of things to experience. Of course, when we went, as you mentioned, Smugglers Run was open. Rise of the Resistance opened a couple months later, December in Florida, and January, I believe it was, for California. But we did get to experience almost everything else. We didn't visit Savi's workshop, which is where you can hand build your lightsabers. We saw the outside of it. We saw the door, but we didn't get to go in. We didn't get to see that. But we did visit the droid depot. And, of course, that was pretty cool. That's where, of course, you can go in and you can build your own droid and you pick the top, pick the body, pick the legs, and the whole 9 yards, and pick your build your app-controlled droid.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool to see how they got that set up. It's just a bunch of conveyor belts with pieces running along.
Yeah.
And you just have to keep an eye on. If you see a piece you want, you got to grab it, because chances are it's not going to come back around again. I thought that was really a unique setup there. And I love seeing all the different. I was sitting there watching people build droids and seeing what they were putting together and how they were doing it. And there were some pretty cool droids that came out of there. What did you think of the Droid Depot, David?
Oh, very cool. We took a ton of pictures in there, you and I and Jason and his wife, and I was thinking about that. I enjoyed watching people just have fun and grab different parts and build droids, and I felt like I was, like am I in Tatooine, the cantina, then you go next door and build a droid and all that. It's you're very much ensconced in the Star Wars universe there. And the other thing that I think I might enjoy even slightly more than watching people build them is watching people of all different ages run those droids around outside. Like, I know after you and I had gone there, they put a little area out there where kids could kind of sit down and have their droids interact and stuff like that. Of course, after Galaxy's Edge opened in California, I saw people, taking the little droids they built and running them out in front of the big TIE. What is it? What is the big TIE fighter there at Galaxy's Edge? Kylo Ren.
Gosh.
What is it? Is it TIE? It's not Echelon. It's not a TIE Echelon, is it?
I think it is.
Is that it? And and they would have pictures, of the droid they made in the Droid Depot out in front of that, or the Falcon, and all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of twofold. One, it's neat to be in there and watch people make all of them, and it's fun to see people out around the park playing with them as well. So pretty neat stuff.
Yes, it is the TIE Echelon.
Okay.
And a little bonus trivia for you about the TIE Echelon. It was originally designed for Colin Trevorrow's version of Episode 9.
Interesting.
Yeah. According to an article I just read, he actually says that the fighter was designed. Colin Trevorrow was doing an interview, and it actually said it was designed by him for the movie. So, and they ended up not using it in the movie. They ended up putting it in Galaxy's Edge. But yeah, so that ship could have been in Trevorrow's version of Episode 9.
Interesting. Yeah, because I'm just visualizing right now the one that Kylo uses, the one that Rey cuts the wing off of it there.
Mm-hmm.
Different shape, different design. Yeah.
So, yes, definitely is. So, but yeah, the TIE Echelon was gorgeous. And there's a lot of other stuff too that we did. I think part of probably my the favorite. I mean, we had a blast. I loved everything about that day. But we spent a lot of time in Oguz Cantina.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
And that was so much fun.
Yeah.
I tell you, it was packed to the brim. I mean, the line was outside. You had to have reservations to get in. Unfortunately, we did. And we went in, and they were limiting you to 45 minutes is what the signs were saying. You had 45 minutes to be in there, but I'm pretty sure we were in there longer than that. And it was 45 minutes and a 2-drink maximum is what it was.
Yes.
I remember it clearly. And it was so much fun. The atmosphere was incredible. Having that cantina bar set up, just like Mos Eisley. You have DJ Rex, the old pilot from Star Tours, up there spinning tunes, and of course, the drinks were just spectacular. I don't do alcohol. Not my friend. But they have drinks with alcohol and without. I personally enjoyed the Hyperdrive Punch It. That's what I had that day, and that was so good. That was a nice mix of, which surprised me too. Once I found out everything that was in it, but it was a Powerade Mountain Berry Blast mixed with white cranberry juice and black cherry puree and Sprite. Yeah. That was so good. It had just enough sweet in it to make it fun. It was great. Do you remember what you got that day?
Well, I was gonna look here. Let me see if I can grab it. I have a menu I went a second time, and let me see if I can pull it out, because if I can look at the menu, I'll have a better idea of what I had. Oh, here it is. Because I was looking, because we got a wide variety, and even Jason and his wife, okay, here it is. Let's take a look. There's yours, Hyperdrive Punch It. I think I got, let me flip this over. I think I got the Bad Motivator IPA.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think Jason and Sarah, I'm looking here. One was a Fuzzy Tauntaun. That's the one that makes your lips tingle. and I think a Jedi Mind Trick or a Besman Fizz. I'm trying to remember. I'd have to ask them. But we got a real kind of wide variety. We purposely got like 4 different drinks, and they come in, different presentations. And I'm just looking at the menu here and stuff. But yeah. But I know a few minutes ago I just mentioned that the crowd was perfect, and it was. But I'm glad you said that, because the crowd at Oguz, it's small. It's not big.
Very small.
It is. It really is. And of course, all of us, we were up at the up at the bar like Luke was, when he came in and was asking for a drink in A New Hope. So we didn't sit back in the booths, and they do have some of those. I think, what did you and I count? Maybe
I think there were like 12 booths total.
something like that. There's
something
not a
like
lot.
that. There wasn't a lot.
No.
Because the DJ booth took up maybe the space for like 2 or 3 booths.
Right.
And the booths weren't big. They only held maybe 4, at the most 6 people.
Yeah.
Not that big at all. There, you think of the booth that you see Han Solo in A New Hope, and it really wasn't even that big. It was probably more the size of, it could have been that big because that was where he met with Luke and Ben, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He went to get up, and that's when Greedo showed up. So yeah, it probably could have been about the same size. It just looked bigger in the movie than it does in real life.
Well, and as as I think about it, when we left Oguz Cantina, I thought that they could double, they could triple the size, and it'd still be full.
Absolutely.
No question. I mean, when you look at it from the outside, I mean, it's literally, if you and I were sitting in the Falcon's cockpit, you look straight out and there's Oguz Cantina. It's right there. But it's not huge. I mean, the building that it's in goes way up high in the sky, but Oguz Cantina is just down one level. And but it's fun, and it is an intimate atmosphere. I was looking at some of the other names here. I was looking at your Hyperdrive Punch It. These are all the ones without alcohol, especially after Mandalorian. I mean, Mandalorian was not out. There's Jabba Juice.
Yeah.
Blurg Fire. Now, Blurgs, we saw the Blurgs all over Mandalorian.
Yep.
So Blurg Fire. There's a Blue Bantha. The Carbon Freeze. Geez, I wonder what that's referencing.
I think that's what I'm going to have to try if I ever make it back.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm looking at all the ingredients. Cliff Dweller, very much a reference to, I think, porgs, right, up in The Last Jedi. Black Spire Brew. That's a cold brew coffee, honey, flernum, passion fruit, and citrus. Now, those are all non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah.
There's, let's see, provisions, the Rhodian Ration and Ogre's Obsession, both one with alcohol, one without. And then on the back, of course, like I said, Fuzzy Tauntaun, Jedi Mind Trick, T16 Skyhopper, the Outer Rim, Dagobah Slugslinger, Besman Fizz, Jet Juice, and Yub Nub are all concoctions with alcohol. And then the 4 beers on tap were Gold Squadron Lager, White Wampa Ale, Gamorrean Ale, Bad Motivator IPA, cider on tap, Spice Runner, hard cider. Well, Spice Runner, thinking about, thought about Han, but not really Poe.
Exactly.
All right. And then the 2 wines on tap were Tanneray, and of course I've seen that in many Star Wars books, and another one called Imperial Guard. So there you go.
Very good. Very good. And you're actually right about the Cliff Dweller, because I'm actually looking at the menu on the Disney website.
Yeah.
And it actually is, it's served in a souvenir porg mug.
Yeah, it's yes, yeah. So cool.
That was just a lot of fun. And if you want to know what the atmosphere is like and what it sounds like, you can actually listen to all the music from Oguz Cantina. It's available. Just search Galaxy's Edge Oguz Cantina, and you'll pull up DJ Rex's entire playlist, it's fun to listen to. I've actually listened to it. A lot of fun to listen to. And then just picture a whole bunch of voices talking, trying to yell over each other and talk to each other. Because it was a blast. Really was.
Oh my gosh.
For lunch, though, we ate at Docking Bay 7. Which was fun. It was interesting. What did you think of the food at Galaxy's Edge since we ate at Docking Bay 7?
I liked it, but ultimately I don't think I liked it as much as Ronto's Roasters.
Okay.
And I ended up liking those wraps over there, breakfast wrap and the regular one over there. But I ate everything. I think we had different stuff. I can't remember exactly what I had. Of course, they had all the different Star Wars names to it, but I just remember scarfing it down quite quickly. I was not offended by it. I ate it and enjoyed it and felt good after. So, but I can't remember what I ordered. That's where I need the menu for there as well. I remember I got a little treat though, a little dessert there. I was trying to remember the name of that, but do you remember what you had? Do you remember? I don't know.
It was I actually had it in my head until you asked me what it was. I'm actually pulling up the menu right now.
Okay.
Because I know they've changed the menu since. Because the menus they have in the world, I heard they changed to have more recognizable names.
Yes, remember that. Yeah.
Here we go. I got the Endorian Tip Yip.
Oh,
that's what it was called when we went.
Yeah.
Now it's called the Endorian Fried Chicken Tip Yip.
Okay. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Then the other options that you had were the smoked Kadu pork ribs, the Batuan beef pot roast, the Surabat shrimp and noodle salad, or the roasted Endorian chicken salad.
That's what I had.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because I know for sure I didn't get the ribs or the other one you said just before the last one, which is what I had.
Yeah. Did you get for dessert? Did you get the Batu Bon, which is the chocolate cake, or the raspberry cream puff?
I got the Batu Bon. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Out of the two, there was two there. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was good. I had no complaints. It was good. Of all the places, though, going to Disney, all the places, if I had to pick where to eat, probably wouldn't have been my first choice. I had to go at least once, of course, but looking at it, if I had a choice to go eat anywhere in the parks, it wouldn't be my first choice, but I would definitely wouldn't mind going back.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, there was nothing to write home about there. Just one of the neatest things about Docking Bay 7 was honestly outside looking at, the big boxes, the crates that have, 77, 80, and 83 printed on them, just to remind us of the release dates of the original trilogy movies. But I very much like being in Oguz Cantina more, Ronto's Roasters, and of course, you and I took pictures there and over the big, what is it, pod racing jet, and being in Doc Ondar's, Den of Antiquities.
Oh yes, that was going to be the next thing I wanted to bring up with Doc Ondar's because, dude, I could have broke the bank 3 times over in that place.
Oh, it's just bring probably if you brought $2,000 to $5,000, you could spend it. It's incredible. I mean, you and I were in there, and it's not just seeing Doc himself. Doc Ondar, the animatronic, and of course we got pictures and video, by Doc. But when you and I took those pictures of, you were holding, I think, Obi-Wan's lightsaber.
Yep.
I held up Luke's from Return of the Jedi. They had Ahsoka's lightsabers in there, Vader, I think Qui-Gon. I'm trying to remember all of them. Just those are the ones that you can buy that is not part of Savi's workshop where you build your own lightsaber. And they're top notch, right, brother?
Oh, they are incredible. I tell you, I still need to go back and at least get my hands on Obi-Wan's and bring it home. But they have so many things in there, not just the lightsabers, which were stunning, incredible pieces. but they have all sorts of other things. You can get the holographic chess that Han and them played on board the Falcon. You can get that game there, and all the pieces for that to have at home. There are statues. There are the holocrons. Oh my Lord, the holocrons were incredible.
Yeah.
And you can buy the different color crystals, kyber crystals, to go in, and each one, when you put it in, plays a different message depending on the color.
Yeah.
It is just the level of thought they put into this experience is incredible and second to none. You can definitely lose your mind, your wallet, and then if I would have done all that, I would have lost my marriage all at the same time. But it's incredible. It truly is incredible.
Well, and something else to think about, like you said, it's not just the lightsabers. It's not just Doc Ondar and seeing him, such a critical character, on Batuu. And not just the holocrons, because, when you and I were over there looking at both the Sith holocron, the Jedi holocron, then the multiple colors of holocrons. And of course, you and I know, side note, people had been trying over the last year to get a black, kyber crystal.
Yep.
That was a big thing that people were chasing. But then, again, as you and I know, you could just stand there, and I did it. I mean, you could stand there and just do a 360 looking up and look at all of the different helmets and guns and just all of the Star Wars, within the galaxy, in universe stuff. You look up there, it's limitless. And I took a video, just very slowly did a 360 with my camera up, and picked out so many different things, just incredible. But then when you walk in to Doc Ondar, there's those are they called reliefs? Or are they called there's 3 of them, I think, and I took a picture of each one. And
the tablets?
Yes, thank you. The tablets. They're really reminiscent of what you see in, because I just watched Revenge of the Sith, I don't know, just within the last couple weeks, when you see inside of Palpatine's office, you see those big tablets, and you'll see him and Anakin talking, and at one point Anakin pulls up his blue lightsaber, because basically he's revealed that he is the Sith Lord. And on both sides, behind Anakin and behind Palpatine, you see those big tablets. And I'd be curious to see. Maybe Matt Martin has explained what's on those. When I go to my phone, I can look and I can see them, and it looks like an epic kind of battle. But I'd be curious to see what the story is behind that. I don't know that they're the replicas of what Palpatine had in his office, but it's the same idea. But very cool.
Oh, they were very cool. There's so much in that store that you can just sit there and stare, not at the merchandise they're trying to sell you, but just staring up above everything. The walls are just covered top to bottom with just replicas of props and costumes and stuff from the movies, from the series, from every walk of Star Wars you can think of. It's just literally sitting up there, like it's on display, like he's been collected it and it's part of his shop. So great experience in there. So a couple last thing we need to get into before we wrap this conversation up. Smugglers Run, man. We did Smugglers Run, 4 times that day?
I think so.
Yeah. 4 times. And because it wasn't that busy. Now you're lucky to get in and get it once. But we did it 4 times that day. What did you think of Smugglers Run?
Oh, I loved it. I loved being on it with you guys, with you and Jason and stuff, and being in the different seats. I'm trying to remember. You guys were gracious enough. I was able to do the pilot on the right hand side and the pilot on the left hand side. Of course, the one on the right hand side pulls the Falcon into hyperspace, which everyone has to experience that at least once. Mm-hmm. I was a gunner. I finally was an engineer at some point, so I've been in all 3 seats. I have to admit, and I've heard other people talk about this, even Dan Z's talked about it quite a few times, that when you're the pilots, you don't have as much control, that up, down, right, left, as you think, and you can tell it is on a track to a certain degree. But there's kind of like a pressure on you. And I've heard a number of different podcast people talking about this. When you're a gunner or the engineer, you're in the back. In fact, I think I might like engineer the most because, I could do my job back there, push the buttons I need to do, but I could look out and I had a better view of the screen than when you're up in the pilot seat. So when I sat back there, I was like, man, I can really see the visuals on the screen quite a bit better back here. So, overall, just really enjoyed it. And, I think maybe, there's so many stages in that ride in terms of, walking in and finally getting into the area with the Dejari table. Of course, we took a ton of pictures in there. I loved being in there. And then just like being with you and Jason and walking into the cockpit of the Falcon. It's like, come on, that's ridiculous. I mean, just so fun. So yeah, I mean, a big hit for me. And of course, I love Hondo.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. I had a lot of fun on that ride. I actually did the ride we did it together 4 times. I actually was the pilot 3 times and a gunner once.
Okay.
And I did both pilot seats too, so that was quite fun. There's nothing like reaching up and kicking the Falcon into hyperspace.
Oh,
that makes the ride worth it right there, just to reach up, grab those bars and just pull them down to kick in the hyperspace. Oh, be still my beating heart. That was the experience. That was the experience for me right there. It was great seeing Hondo, of course, from Clone Wars and Rebels fame up there. It was a really fun ride. It really was. It was an experience for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just close with this, David. So what? Because I know you've been twice to Galaxy's Edge, right?
Yeah. I just went back one more time in September. After you and I went in August, and then I haven't been back. It was the end of September, and so just been twice. But I just really spent a lot of time. I know we didn't talk about the marketplace. I spent a bit more time there on the second one. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you though. As you were
No, you're fine. Go right ahead.
Yeah, no, it just, I think, on the second one, the second trip, I was able to just really, because I believe, yes, we did. You and I knew that there would be circumscribed time back in August, early August, when you and I went on the cast preview. There was a certain amount of time you could be there, and they were allowing different cast members in over the course of the day. But when I went in September, I went and I thought, let me go there early. I'm just going to spend the entire day. I'm not going to go to anywhere else in Hollywood Studios, not even Toy Story Land. And I just went in and I was there from 9, I think, in the morning till maybe 10 at night. Got to see Jason and Sarah again. They were with family, but they stopped over into Galaxy's Edge just to touch base. And but I was able to spend even more time in Doc Ondar's. I actually did something that you and I didn't have time to do, when we were there, which was the app that's on your phone, the Play Disney app.
Yes.
And so I loaded that up, and I had a lot of fun with that. I kind of, went around, and of course you use your phone and you solve different questions, and you go up to different crates and you have your phone, take a picture of what's on the Arabesh. Now, this is through the marketplace. This is on the boxes, the behind the Falcon. And I just didn't even have time to do, all the different tasks that they have. You could do one for Hondo, then you could do this one and this one. It was just, I spent a lot of time doing it just to explore the app and really get into the nitty-gritty details. It was pretty neat. You could gather different weapons and so on and so forth, but and go on different tasks. You could adjust the radar and stuff over in the first order area. You could get into competitions too, where you try to turn the radar dishes and communication stuff over to either the first order over to the resistance, and you'd see people with their phones out, trying to do this. And so I had a lot of fun with it. There was so much more that I could have done with the app. I just didn't have the time. And the other one was, the one that was for Hondo was kind of like as you went through the queue for Smugglers Run. And I'm like, if you are really going slowly through there, you would have time to do that and take pictures of the cargo and slowly but surely do what you need to do. But when the line was moving pretty fast, like when you and I were there with Jason, you wouldn't really have time to do that unless you really wanted to stop. But we wanted to ride Smugglers Run as much as we could. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole other thing that people can do while they're there. And of course, it's not just for Galaxy's Edge. You can, when you pull it up, it's, you can do stuff in Toy Story Land and so on and so forth. But that was pretty fun as well. It was really nice just to get, I don't know. I spent a lot of time, like I said, taking pictures of all the Arabesh and translating it. And I actually sent that to you and Jason and stuff. Just stuff that's, everywhere. I'll be curious to see over time if they'll switch that up, switch the Arabesh, create new things. And I guess just kind of as an ending point, I'm curious to see, because of the way they built Galaxy's Edge, if in time they will change it from being set, between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker to, a different time period, maybe not change Batuu or Galaxy's Edge, but just here's where it is now,
Yeah.
Because I think you and I have walked the entire land there. With the Falcon there, but you could put it in some different, I guess, gosh, with the Rise of the Resistance ride though, that's pretty locked in.
Yeah.
That I just thought about that. Boy.
Yeah, that kind of locks you into place there, but you're right. They could do a lot with it. And I'm interested to see what they do in the future. And the Disney Play app is the app you were talking about, by the way.
Okay.
For our listeners, if they're curious, that's the Disney Play app. Use it to play different games and stuff while you're in the queue lines and stuff when you're at the Disney parks.
Yeah.
Now, to wrap things up here, I wanted to go with your best memory from your visits to Galaxy's Edge. What is your favorite? What is the thing that you look back at the most as your favorite thing from Galaxy's Edge when you went?
Well, I think it's got to be Smugglers Run, being on the Falcon with you and Jason, being in the Falcon, being at the Djarig table. That was just incredible. Just incredible. Oguz Cantina was awesome, but being on the Falcon, queuing up for that, getting in there, and going into hyperspace, that's just, incredible. Now, I haven't ridden Rise of the Resistance, and everyone talks about that like it's, the best ride ever created, I guess, surpassing the Flight of Passage over at Animal Kingdom, right?
I hear it's life-changing.
That's I mean, and that's, and it's amazing to hear that after being on Smugglers Run, but yes, and the reason why I say it too is because when you think about it, it's always with friends. If I was on it by myself, it's more fun with you guys. It's more fun with your Star Wars brothers and sisters, and that's why when you asked me, I immediately in my head I'm like, yep, I'm on the Falcon, and I'm with you guys, and so yeah, that was not difficult at all.
Very good, very good.
What about you?
For me, honestly, the thing I remember the most, the thing that sticks with me the most, besides being there with you and Jason and experiencing it all together with y'all, but the thing that really sticks out in my mind the most is walking around that corner for the first time and seeing the Falcon. It literally, it was such a emotional moment at that point, because there it is, as big as life, just sitting there, and walk around the corner, and you just stand there and you just stare at it, and it's all you can see because it's that big, sitting right there in front of you. And I'm getting chills right now on my arms just talking about it. But that moment that is the moment that when I think of Galaxy's Edge, I think of all the great times I had with y'all at Oguz and on board the Falcon on Smugglers Run. But walking around that corner for the first time and seeing the Falcon sitting there. Oh my gosh. That is something that will stick with me for forever.
Well, and it's not just a, it's not just. I was watching New Hope the other day as well, and it's not the one you see in Docking Bay 94 with a young Harrison Ford in front of it, where they built half of it. I mean, you and I know it's the full deal, and of course, as you go through the queue, you get this incredible view. As you get closer to the ride, you're up behind the Falcon and have such an incredible view. So they really do let you see it from all these different angles that you just couldn't do in the movies at that time. They weren't going to build the whole thing, but unbelievable. Yeah, and it's even though Rise of the Resistance is there, I mean, I think about the Tree of Life. I think about Cinderella's Castle. I think for Galaxy's Edge, that symbol is the Falcon there in that land. It's the symbol.
It is. It truly is. And all the promotions are set around that. All the pictures you see coming out there are set around that. That was a place to get your picture taken, was right there in front of the Falcon. And that was, oh gosh, it was really moving. It really, really was. So, yeah. So what do y'all think of Galaxy's Edge? Have y'all been to Galaxy's Edge? Have you been to Galaxy's Edge yet? What did you think? What was your favorite moments? Hit us up on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and let us know. Of course, Facebook, Star Wars Reactions, Twitter, SW Reactions Pod, or Instagram, SW Reactions. Or you can always email us, show@StarWarsReactions.com. And let us know what you think of Galaxy's Edge. Of course, whether you've been or whether you're planning on going, let us know. And of course, we'll share that on our next show as well. So, David, if somebody wants to talk Star Wars with you, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, real easy. On Twitter, I've always been the same. It's at David_Modders, at David_Modders. We also have email addresses, Aaron and I. Mine is David at StarWarsReactions.com. And just a little side note, people, I finished episode number 291 of Skywalking Through Neverland, and Richard and Sarah Woloski mentioned our very own Aaron Harris in that episode. The episode is called Star Wars Weekend Spectacular. It came out last Thursday, but it's Skywalking Through Neverland, episode number 291, and they mentioned Aaron and how Star Wars Weekends really rekindled his fandom. So they did a great review of that, because the month of May and even into June here, was Star Wars Weekends. But anyway, just wanted you to know that Aaron is all over the internet.
Well, I appreciate that. I haven't listened to that one yet. It's on my iPod. I just haven't listened yet. So I have to listen now that I know I'm in there.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, because that's awesome. Because actually, our next episode, I wanted to do a look back at Star Wars Weekends. So
I did not know that you were going to wanted that, but yeah, it's
a nice little segue you did there. But that's what I was thinking, because normally this would be Star Wars Weekends time, and that has a lot of meaning, I know, to both of us, since that's how we met each other. So I figured that would be a great follow-up to Galaxy's Edge, would be talking about Star Wars Weekends. So also, if you have any memories of Star Wars Weekends that you would like to share, if you've been to Star Wars Weekends, write us, let us know. You can message us on the social media accounts I mentioned earlier, Facebook, Star Wars Reactions, Twitter, SW Reactions Pod, or Instagram, SW Reactions. Sorry. You can message us, DM, direct message us. They're open. The messages are open, so you can just message us and let us know about your Star Wars Weekends experience and what your fondest memories are, and that will be our topic for our next episode. So there we go. Awesome. So if you want to talk Star Wars with me personally, Twitter's the best way to do that, at TAHarris121079, or feel free to email me, Aaron at StarWarsReactions.com. David, my friend, this has been fun.
Oh, gosh. Unbelievable. It's never never a dull moment talking about Star Wars, and always fun.
Oh, it always is fun. It's a blast. I am so thankful we get to do this each week, and definitely I'm thankful for each one of you that listen in and tune into our show. We appreciate each and every one of you. We pray for each and every one of you. Y'all are awesome people, and we wish you the best and in health and in life. So thank you all so much for listening. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.